Okay, this is week number 6 of Intermediate AutoCAD. Date is the 20th of October, 2020. We'll cover a little bit of review of layouts that I forgot last week. Then covered blocks, design center, attributes. Then get into Xrefs, including images. One participant so far. Admit. Hey, Anna. and Dan, and that's all so far.
Oh,
Hey, Dan, Anna. Okay.
Hi.
Well, this may be a rough class because most of the stuff we'll cover today I rarely use. So I got to kind of relearn it each time I teach it. But we'll see how it goes. Any question from anything from past classes? And you all got the, I forget if it's 2 or 3 DWG files I emailed. You got them ready to open, or go ahead and open them right now? Let's see what I emailed to you. I emailed week 6 starter, STD-202, just those 2 drawing files. Oh, we'll also play with week 1 refresher PDF for week 6 starter. You don't need to have those open. Probably better not to have them open, but we'll attach these graphics, and I'll quickly show you how to heads up digitize. And we won't spend a lot of time because I don't think you'll use it at the shipyard. We have another Ali is coming aboard. So this is the drawing curve file. I don't think we'll take time for all 3 of the images. Yeah, sprocket, week 1 refresher, and curve board. But it's possible to bring this curve board.pdf into your AutoCAD, scale it so that each of the grid boxes equals exactly a 1/2 inch. In other words, scale it so it's full scale. You can measure things with it. And with 3-point arc, or okay, Alexander's coming in. 3-point arc or 3-point circle, we can trace this. And the next step would be to save as a .dxf file. And this is getting out of my league, but with a DXF file, you can put it into a computer numeric controlled machine, and it'll literally cut this out of your wood or steel or whatever you want, whatever it's made out of, just following the object by object, all the lines and arcs in the drawing file saved as a DXF. The week 1 refresher. I don't remember this page being in the file. Sally is coming on. Let's see. Cannot extract. Anybody got, oh, it's 4:15. Still got 5 aboard. Damien's coming in, that's 6. I think we've still got 9 attending class. So again, hopefully y'all downloaded the files, all 6, I believe, I emailed to you. 2 of them are .dwg files. Time permitting, we'll play with both of them. And 3 of them are, I believe, PDF or JPEG, image files that we'll play with time permitting. And of course, the handout pages for this week. First, I want to cover some stuff I forgot from last week. Open up, see if I can find a file for last week. And when y'all started turning in your homework, I said, by golly, well, why didn't I learn them how to rename the layouts? So I want to cover renaming, copying. And I can't remember how well we got into printing. So we might Elizabeth coming in, might go over printing and develop a .pdf file. Pretend it's a sheet of paper. Okay, let's get underway. I think we're still missing 2. We got 7, and I think we need 9. Kateria or Kateria. She might step in. And
Kathy's all. She has to work tonight, so she
okay.
Yeah.
She'll watch the recording, I'm sure. All right, let's get underway. Couple of things about layouts that I forgot to address last week. This is last week's starter file with a ton of layouts. You can only see the 3 layouts here since the status bar is hogging up so much screen space. But you can always see all the layouts with this double arrow here. So click on this double arrow two little V's pointing down at the just off the status bar. And that'll give you a list of all the layouts, including the model space layout that we've been working on the first 4 weeks so far. Anyway, let's go to layout 1 here. Several of you appreciated you created a layout for each of those 2 I assigned. What were they, 6 and 23, or gosh, memory's fading. But anyway, what I should have included last week was renaming a layout. And I think this probably is the same as Microsoft Excel. Rest your cursor on one of the tabs or sheet in Microsoft Excel. Right click with your mouse. And there's the rename feature. So you can click rename and name it EX space 6 or A size color or landscape details or whatever you want to, the size of the sheet of paper, or the topic of the layout. Copying a layout is done very similar. Right click on a layout. Looks like I got a, okay, right click on a layout, click on move or copy. There's an easier way to move, so just concentrate on this as a copy method. Once you've put in a title block and border and your north arrow and maybe a bar scale, depending on the size of the sheet of paper, don't rebuild all that stuff. Copy it for the next project you got. Right click on a layout tab, click move or copy. And here's the part I always forget. Put a check mark down here and create a copy. We'll put it at the far right end. I'll say move it to the end instead of before one of the existing layouts. I'll say put the copy at the end. Again, check the create a copy box. Click OK, and click on the double arrows, and there is our EX space 6 parentheses 2. Not knowing what you want to name it, it'll just put a 2, 3, 4, indicating it's a copy. Then, of course, go ahead and rename it, say EX 24 or whatever it was last week. What else? Page setup manager, I think we covered. That's getting into aiming it at a printer. Click modify. And drop down to the selected printer. I got nothing connected to this computer, so we'd say just DWG to PDF. AutoCAD PDF. There's a couple options, and I'm not sure. I think I've been using DWG to PDF at the office. You can also publish to a JPEG file, which is maybe a little easier to put on websites and attach to emails. Here's a Microsoft. That one I like to use when converting a Word file, I believe, into PDF, but for some reason it's margins get messed up when I go to Microsoft Print to PDF on a CAD drawing. Anyway, while I'm still here, publish to JPEG, say. You definitely want to plot the layout after you've invested so much time in the title block and border and your viewports and locking them and setting scale and lining them up and all. Definitely plot the layout. Anytime you see this OK button dark, click it. That means that now rats. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's close. We'll go to plot, and we'll see that setup manager again. Since I clicked the OK, it remembers which JPEG I'm at, or which printer I'm at. Portrait or landscape are here. Click preview, and this will be exactly how it'll develop as a PDF. If we were routing to a color printer, this would be exactly how it looks on the sheet of paper. Right click and click exit. And click OK if you want to print. I think that's about all I want to show you. There's some people get serious about plot styles. It says right here, pen assignments. Just like the pen assignments implies, in my opinion, plot styles went out when we got rid of pen plotters. With the one exception, sometimes I'll select grayscale if I'm going to be making Xerox copies of handouts. That way I can be sure that the light colors are going to be dark enough on the Xerox machine. You know, a yellow shows up on the computer, but it won't copy on a black and white Xerox machine. Moving a layout, it can be done by that right click and move or copy. You know, just do not click on this create a copy. But just today I was playing around. It's probably easier, like Microsoft. I believe that you can do this with Excel. Click and hold on the tab of the layout and slide it where you want it to go. And it's a little finicky. You got to there's a small area that it'll work. So kind of squeeze it between two other tabs, release, and that moves the tab or the layout. What else? Okay, I think that's everything I wished I had covered last week. Was renaming a layout, copying a layout, clicking the plus sign just creates a generic new one. No thrills. The viewport it puts on the layout is dependent on what your current layer is. So let's move on. Week 6, today's first topic is blocks. Let me start a brand new drawing. We'll go to the application menu, click new. And as usual, start with our old acad.dwt template. Click open. And as usual, I'm going to turn off the two things that insist on coming on. Blocks in AutoCAD are well, in 2D work, you could think of them like rubber stamps. If you got a chair or a sofa, let me quickly rattle off a chair here. Come on. Home, rectangle again. And I'm messing up the scale, but maybe go to a shift and right click to a near point. Come straight across, and there might be a simple rubber stamp of a chair. Extremely basic. Let's say I'm replicating these into an auditorium or conference room. By making a rubber stamp and just striking the stamp again and again and again, down, 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 and copying them all and mirroring them all and rotating them all and copy again. By using blocks, or I think that the official name is block references or referenced block. By using blocks, it's takes up a lot less storage space for your CAD file, because the definition of the rubber stamp or the block is placed in one spot in your CAD file, and then for each repetition of it, all the only information, it says, hey, this is a block previously defined in the block table of this drawing. It's at point X, Y, Z. It's at this rotation. It's at this X, Y, and Z scale. It's on this layer. Maybe a few other things, but you can really, if you array this, you build a rectangular array of this, say 10,000 by 10,000. You might end up with a 100 kilobyte file pretty fast. We're making it into a block and then replicating the block 1,000 by 1,000 would probably be less than, I don't know, 30 or 40 kilobytes. Anyway, you can make your chair as complicated or as simple as you want. What the heck? Let's I was going to have you make a 3D chair, but let's keep it 2D. Might run out of time. We got this sample here. The next question is, where do you want the insertion point to go when you form this into a rubber stamp? I think for today, everything dead center is a good idea for the insertion point. So midpoint of this dot line, or you can always get the specified point up, hold the shift button, right click, and go mid between 2 points. And that'll get you to this midpoint without having to draw the line and later having to erase the line. However, something like a refrigerator, you might put the insertion stamp on or a bathtub's a better example. Bathtub, you might put the insertion point at the corner so you can snap it into the corner of the bathroom in your floor plan. An oven or refrigerator, you might have midpoint in the back so you can snap it to a near point on the wall. Ceiling fans probably in the middle, so we'll just do middle today. Everything's on so far is on the 0 layer, and most blocks you'll see professionally made, I believe, originate on the 0 layer, because starting your objects on a layer other than 0 complicates the way they behave. And some expert might take advantage of the complexity, but I'd suggest let's keep stuff on 0, and we can rubber stamp it on furniture, chairs, electrical, or whatever layer we want. But anyway, everything's on layer 0. To make a block, click on the Insert tab of your AutoCAD. I believe typing the letter B launches it. Okay. Here's the Create Block icon. Yeah, just the BLOCK is the command. So click on, once you've got your rubber stamp, your master copy, so to speak, define. I won't include this diagonal line. That's just to locate the center of the chair. We'll create a block. I'll get the right block later, time permitting. Click on Create a Block. First step is what to name it. As I believe you can have blank spaces. I'm not sure what characters are prohibited. If you type one, I think you immediately get an error message. Let's find out. Exclamation point. Well, so far it's allowing a lot more than I expected. comma. Okay, let's see what happens if with this weird block name. Here's where you specify the base point. Specify, well, unless it's a title block. You know, if it's a title block, you likely want to pick the lower left corner as the insertion point and have it drop into your layout at 0, 0, 0. But for furniture and electrical symbols and hydraulic valves and stuff, click on pick point. Snap at your midpoint to say there's where I want the handle of the rubber stamp to be. Next step is, what do you want to be, you know, copy backs or, you know, the office supply store to make you a rubber stamp. You know, what objects do you want to include in it? Click the Select Objects button and select everything that you want in your rubber stamp, and be careful not to select your guidelines. You know, a long line coming in from the side or a diagonal line to locate the middle. Hit enter when you're finished selecting. I'd say leave convert to block. I'd say allow loading. I believe down here, if you say, hey, an AutoCAD unit in this drawing is an inch, you can, this drawing will go into a metric floor plan, and the arithmetic will be done automatically. If the metric floor plan is done with an AutoCAD unit equals a centimeter or meter, you know, as long as you got this, say, in inches, and the metric drawing has centimeters or millimeters, whatever, and it'll automatically come in the right size. I've never found a use for description, so a programmer might have some use for that. So that's about it. Give it a name. Pick a point where the wooden handle of the rubber stamp is fixed. Select your objects. And make sure that the unit here is inches or feet, whichever your AutoCAD unit represents. Click OK. Because we've got convert to block, now it tells me not supported. That answers my question. Looks like the open and close parentheses are acceptable. @ sign, pound sign, a few of these are acceptable. I'm not sure which one I typed that violated these rules, so I'll give it a decent name. Chair 1, say. Click OK. Now, since we got it checked convert to block, when we click OK, this thing becomes our first block. And that grip you see is at the insertion point. You can latch onto it anywhere. We'll go back to home, click move. Kind of like a polyline, you can grab it anywhere and move it around. And you can copy, and you can scale, and you can rotate, and you can mirror. If you got a 3D object, I think you can scale in all 3 dimensions, but I've never, you know, I was about to say I've never thought of a reason to do that, but that might be a, you know, if you got an I-beam that's 1 inch long, you might scale it in the length direction by the number of inches you want it to be. And so in that case, your XYZ scale factor would not be identical. Click escape to deselect. Oop, what happened? I guess I forgot to hit the final enter on the mirror process. Enter. Now check it out. We select everything. AutoCAD says there's 8 objects. I see 7 of those block references and 1 line. So we can click, click down to see the properties of just the 7 blocks. They're all on layer 0, property by layer. Z is 0. Everything else varies. There's the name of them all. There's the unit. We can also make a 3D block. I'll change the workspace to 3D modeling. What happened? Okay. Box probably is quicker, but I'll click extrude, make it so high, rotate the view to get the warm and fuzzy, that everything's looking the way I want it to. I change the UCS so I can draw a circle literally on the top of this box here. I'm going to make a little stick figure chair. Let's see, where's the UCS? 3 point. I want my 0, 0, 0 to be there, my X to go that way, and my Y to go on any of these surfaces. So there's my new UCS. I can draw say a cylinder. I'll shift right click between 2 points to get the cylinder dead center. Just eyeball the, and be careful not to get on an O-snap. Eyeball the pedestal for this chair. Bring it up. Maybe move the UCS there. Again, 3 there, quadrant. Actually, I don't think we needed to do that. Yeah, let me undo that. And go back to the world coordinate system. Well, I shouldn't have undoed, because that undoed my pedestal. Let me go to the world coordinate system, and I'll copy that base to make the chair. Shift between these 2 points. I want to grab it by that point there in the middle and plop it right there. And I'll place another copy that's somewhere out in space. Get the warm and fuzzy. You can see, yup, it's far away from where your intuition says you put it. That's okay. I'll use the align command to set it somewhere. Again, I prefer the old 2D align. There to there, and there to there, and there to there. And I'll do a 3D rotate. Enter. Base point there. Click the red one and say tilt it toward me by a factor of 15 degrees. So there's a simple little office chair. And again, we can make a block out of this and call it, say, chair 3D. I don't know if there's an insert on the 3D modeling. Don't see it. So let's go back to drafting and annotation. Click on the Insert tab. Again, click on Create Block. Now we'll call this, what I say, Chair 3D. Base point, I'll shift right click to specify a point dead center between the corners. Select objects, I'll select the 1, 2, 3, 4 objects, hit enter. Leave it at inches, though I have no idea how big this thing is. And click OK. So now we got a rubber stamp of a 3D object. The rubber stamp analogy kind of falls apart. You can replicate it around and copy and mirror it and all this and that. I think everything is still on the, whoop, nope, I got it off of the Z plane. How did that happen?
Paul, what about in the command, just clicking I in 3D command? Would that bring up insert?
Maybe. Certainly INSERT. Let's see. Hit escape. I enter. Yep, you're right. So now we're inserting a block. So I enter or click on that place block icon. You can specify where in the coordinate system of your drawing you want it. Again, a title block, you might uncheck that and put it at 0, 0, 0. I got little use for rotation. You might as well just place it and use the rotate command. We'll click OK, place another block. Let me get them all on Z equals 0. I'll click move, select them both, and O snap there. And I believe now everything is back on the floor. Nope. All right, be that way. There. Now everything is on the floor. Another advantage of blocks is that they're very productive. You know, if you've got these chairs all over your drawing and the client comes in and says, well, what about arms on them? Or I want writing surfaces like for a lecture hall in a college. Well, you can just redefine what, you know, make another block using the exact same name, Chair 3D, and hopefully use the exact same insert point. So all you do is make something and call it Chair 3D, and every instance or reference of this block catches up with the new definition of the block. Now there's a couple of ways to, you know, if I wanted to add arms, there's a couple of ways to do it. My way and the easy way. My way is to put a marker where the insertion point is. You know, sometimes you, in a rush, you might just pick a random point. If you don't get this exact same point again, then all of your insertions are going to shift the difference between the 2 points, which is pretty frustrating. So anyway, I'm going to explode this thing. Remember, explode command blasts a polyline into a bunch of lines and arcs. Well, and an explode command will blast an array into separate lines and arcs. Well, an explode command will blast a block down into the original objects that it was made of. Wouldn't you know, I forgot to put the insertion block in, or the bookmark. Just undo. I'm going to go to line, forgetting where I put the insertion point, I'm gonna, it's still a block now. I unexploded it. I'm gonna shift right click and use the insert object snap override. Because I don't know where the insertion point is on this block. I want to bookmark it, so I use the same point again. I'll click insert, pick anywhere, and it'll home in there on the z=0 plane, dead center. And I'll go off and put it on the XY plane in some direction. Now I can safely explode it, and then I can find that insertion point again. Explode, enter. Now let's see, how do I put some arms on here? I guess go back to the UCS's 3 points. X or 0, 0, X direction, and a point on the XY plane. And we'll draw, say, a polyline from a hold the shift button, select nearest. Oh, clicked insert of, hold the button, click nearest. Hold the shift button, pick nearest. There we go. Now be careful you don't home in on any object snaps. And come down, enter. O for offset. All right, Burgener. We'll make it say that offset distance. Click, click. I'll put a line at each end. Enter, enter. We'll p-edit, join it into a closed polyline. Join. Select everything I want to make into a closed polyline. It says open, good. I'll hit enter or escape to bail out. Extrude this guy. Say, still don't know. I was about to say 3 inches, but I don't know. This thing may be bigger or smaller than a chair because I was too lazy to get dimensions. Hit enter. I'll bring it out of what looks good, being careful I don't home in on anything. And mirror this thing. Okay, we're in 3D modeling. 2D mirror command will work. O snap. Okay, I got the XY plane up here. That's why it's misbehaving. I'll put it back to the world coordinate system. Use the old 2D mirror, select the arm, hit enter, mirror it. Hit enter to answer the question, and if the wind's blowing right, there's our slightly more complicated chair. Now remember, I got before I weld it into a box. Let me replicate the instance to show you the beauty of redefining. Imagine if they're all different scales and rotations. We'll go back to, type B for block rather than going back to the drafting and annotation workspace. We'll name it exactly the same, chair space 3D. For base point, home in on the end of that line that I drew as a bookmark. For objects, select everything but not the guideline bookmark pointing to the insertion point. Hit enter. Misspelled chair, we'll fix that. Leave everything as it is, click OK. You get a warning message that, hey, chair 3D already exists. Do you want to redefine it? Yes, I want to redefine it. Da, 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 da. So instantly they all update. Another example I use, say you're showing the floor plan of a hotel to the client, and client says, oh, I can't afford those big 5-blade ceiling fans. We'll just redefine, fan ceiling or ceiling fan, whatever you call it. Make it a smaller 4-blade. In less than a minute, you've updated the 100 different ceiling fans to reflect the budget or the budget cut of the client. I think you're all, looks like I'm guessing I got careless and then slid up or down the Z axis when I was machine gunning all those copies. So far, so good. Now the official, well, the more elegant way of inserting, instead of I enter, is that Alexander that suggested that? Somebody suggested that, sorry.
Wasn't me.
Damien, maybe. But, another way of getting to the insert stuff is clicking on the insert icon on the drafting and annotation tab, drafting and annotation workspace, insert tab, click insert. And I don't really care for this because I don't believe they come out alphabetical. We can click on a 3D chair and plop him somewhere in the on the world UCS system. I prefer if you type the word insert or simply I enter, it's hard to show, but they come out alphabetical, and I think they're easier to find than on this icon list on the insert box here. Now, what if you want to use a block that's in another drawing? Making sure I'm following everything. I like to think of this next tool as the enterprise transporter room. Instead of transporting, you're cloning a block from another drawing. I got several drawings open. I believe week 6 has got today's starter file. Everybody got week 6 open if you want to follow me. Week 6 has got, I don't know, 100 blocks in it. 3 layouts and I don't know, a dozen text styles, maybe a few dimension styles, 30 or 50 layers. So let's aim our design center at the drawings we got open. I prefer this way. They don't have to be open, but I say open them, and that way you can go back to them easy by, you don't have to go through the file folder. You just, anyway. Designs, I'm tempted to type DC for design center. If you insist on using an icon, oh, there it is. Duh. Okay. I'm about to say go to the palette tab and find it as on a palette. Anyway, click on Design Center or type DC enter. I keep hearing sound effects from Star Trek when this happens. I got it clicked over here to open drawings. Which drawing was it? Week 6 starter. I want to aim my transporter beam at. Again, you can click folders and click it to get it all the way through, but if you come back again, you don't want to click it to get it all the way through. So just open it and leave it open until you're done with it. Double click on the spacecraft passing by that you want to clone the stuff from. You got all these categories of stuff you can clone. Blocks, here comes the whole massive load of blocks that are in your starter file. And some of them were made better than others. A lot of little window symbols. Dim styles. You got all these in your week 6 starter. Standard, I hope, is identical to standard in a start from scratch. And several architecture layers, bukus of layers. I think we can list them by details, get them in alphabetical order or not. Layouts, your starter 6 has got the 3 different layouts we can steal, including the title block we spent so much time forming. Line types that are loaded. You know, we haven't added a unique line type yet. We're just using the line types that come with off-the-shelf AutoCAD, so not much use in there. Xrefs we'll get into later today. My point is you got a slew of stuff you can clone from another drawing. Getting back to the blocks, I want to see icons of them instead of alphabetical. I think chair 2 I made. I might have made chair desk. Anyway, just drag him right in. Let go. There he is. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. We want to be on our working drawing. Click Design Center, click Open Drawings, click Blocks, and bring in a, yep, that shows you how off I was with the chair I made just winging it. Here, I believe this is a 2D chair. Later today, we'll be working with a 3D telephone. Now, this is an entire drawing here. And I believe a lot of the blocks and a lot of the layers are because I inserted the entire drawing as a block. Release it, double click, go back to pan. Now, in order to get these individual, I got to explode this image of a block. Okay. Let's see, home, explode, select it, enter. And now you can find individual blocks. There's a door block. This might be a dynamic block. I wasn't planning on learning you dynamic blocks. Dynamic blocks are a whole library where you click on this and that and the door will swing the opposite way or pick a 45-degree angle, or maybe hopefully we'll come across a dynamic block. I've never taught how to make them and really not had any interest. There's a whoa, okay, that is not a 2-dimensional block. Okay, I think this is a 2-dimensional jacuzzi. You can copy this block. Now, once it's exploded, all of its layers crack open and populate your layer property manager.
Excuse me, Paul. It's Dan.
Yes, Dan.
The dynamic block, it sounds like it would be a great feature for like a pull space. So that you could show a cabinet door open, for example, or a drawer easily. Is that the application for dynamic block?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, Thank you.
In my opinion, learning to make, I'm not interested in learning how to make dynamic blocks unless I'm gonna give or sell them to the entire company or, you know. I don't know that it's for just an individual user. I don't know that it's a good investment of the time to learn and to create a dynamic block. But if you're creating an entire system for your entire office to use, then go for it. I believe there's a software Dave Stein made at Shipyard called Mariner. Does that ring a bell?
no,
Mariner, and I think there might be another one called Ship Builder. I believe one of the dynamic blocks was a ladder. You can just click it and stretch it out to the height you want, and it automatically spaces the rungs where you want them.
oh, that's parametrics. That's cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, parametrics, I think it's a little different, but you know, that controls shapes of polygons. But dynamic can show entire views. I came across one dynamic block called toilet that's got several different models of toilet. You know, it's got the plan view, the elevation, it's got a commercial one, you know, like you see in the rest stops. You got a whole variety of toilets, and each one of the toilets has a top view and a side view, maybe a front view too. So that's kind of like a mini library of blocks within a block.
does it get confusing when you have nested blocks, blocks inside of blocks inside of blocks?
Can be confusing, yeah. Sometimes you got to explode an object. I've come across 3 times you have to explode it because of nested. I don't know if, I suppose you could create one with 100 levels of nesting. Those of you that just tuned in, nesting means you create a block out of a bunch of blocks. And then maybe you got a bunch of these mega blocks, you use them all and weld them into a super block. So you need to explode the super block to get it down to the mega blocks, and then explode the mega blocks to get into the individual blocks, and then explode the individual blocks to get down to the lines, arcs, and circles.
It's like the movie Inception where they keep on going deeper and deeper into the movies and you into the dream levels, you know, you
You
keep
know, my son told me to watch that, and I'm afraid it's gonna cause me to lose some sleep. Maybe I'll watch it if you like it, Dan.
it's pretty deep, that movie.
There's a purge command. I think it's in utilities. Yeah. Or I just type PURGE, and that'll get rid of everything that's unused. Like here's dimension style. Everything with a little plus sign lists what's not used, even if it's in a block that I'm not using. It's still considered used. I think there'll be a lot of blocks. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm in the drawing 2. I thought by exploding, oh, okay, I exploded big house A, but all of the blocks within big house A are being used. my point is by keep clicking purge all, you can, in theory, you can reduce the size of your CAD file. Now, I've never really noticed a decrease. It might take a couple of open and closes before all the air bubbles shake out. But the textbooks say it's polite before you email your file to purge it so that you're not hogging bandwidth and filling up the guy's inbox with a big attachment. But getting back to it, if there's a block that's used, like I'll get rid of I am not using big house A because the one use of it I exploded. So I'll say I want to purge big house A. And check it out. I wasn't expecting this, but look at all the blocks that bubbled out. These are likely to be temporarily used blocks. You see some that I think begin with A. They're kind of used internally for something. But I can purge them all out. I don't see any plus signs, so I've gotten this as lightweight as I can. I might save it a couple of times. Drawing 5, I'll save it in the Paul folder. Oops, I'll save it in the Paul folder of week 6. Maybe save it again, maybe close it and open it and save it again. Maybe then you see a decrease in the file size. Where were we? Okay, let me cover tool palettes. Then I'll give you a break. Then we got a big topic of attributes. AutoCAD comes with some standard tool palettes. And in my opinion, creating tool palettes is another example of, do it to share and sell your development work. But I question whether it's worth the time for just a single person operation. Anyway, AutoCAD comes with some palettes that kind of like samples. And one of them has got a ton of blocks. And now that I think of it, it's got some dynamic blocks. I want to show all right, Burgener. I want to show the palettes, tool palette group. How embarrassing. Maybe it's on the visualize tab. I thought it was a visualize. How embarrassing. Uh-oh, now what did I do? How do I get back? Options, display. right, I'll just reset the profile and bring it back to as shipped configuration. Well, I'm going to have to table the pallets for another week because I played with it over the weekend, and whatever I did over the weekend, I'm not finding now. So let me, I'll table the tool pallets for another time. But one of them has got a slew of blocks. I think that's got the toilets that I described earlier. So. All right, take a 15-minute break. I got 16 after 5 by the computer. Let's make it a 14-minute break and come back at a nice round 5:30. During break, anybody got any one-on-one questions they'd like to ask?
You think the tool pallets isn't showing up because you purged? Sometimes crazy things could happen like that.
I doubt it. I believe purge only affects what's in the drawing, not in the ribbon. Tell you what, I'll find it during break right here. F1 for help. Why didn't help come up? I guess because I was playing with some Zoom box or something. Tool palette. Did I misspell palette? Open tool palettes. Here we go. Display the tool palettes by clicking the View tab, Palettes panel. Well, didn't I try that? View tab. There it is. Okay. Well, I'll show this since some of you have stepped out. Well, let me practice during break here. We'll click Tool Palettes, and up comes this entire book of palettes. Again, these are kind of samples, and I think you go on the internet and you can find palettes for shipbuilding or funeral home design or whatever specialty you want. Some of the palettes are literally the same as the panels on the ribbon. Here's the draw, arc, circle, polyline. What else? I think there's one, here's cross hatching. Put your favorite cross hatching on a pallet, and I believe you can just drag it right into an open area, and it'll fill that open area with cross hatch. Watch me crash my computer now. And I am at a loss on why nothing appeared. Let me go to draw, rectangle, crosshatch, drag it in. There we go. But anyway, getting back to blocks, here on architecture, let's import imperial. Imperial means American, Canada, and Great Britain. Below the line here is the metric stuff. So we'll bring in a toilet made in US, click on it, and check it out. In addition to the grip at the insertion point, you got two arrows. And okay, this one flips it right and left. That might be handy on doors. Big whoop on a toilet. And this is the neat part here. Drop down, you got, you know, an antique pull chain. Let's go to an antique pull chain front view. Matter of fact, there's one on Marketplace if you want to buy one. Let's bring in a door. Click on it. Boy, look at all the arrows this one has. You can adjust the size of the door. Okay, I guess it's as big as available. You can reduce it down to a, you know, linen closet door, or back to the full 40-inch. You can reverse the swing of it with these arrows. And I believe somewhere you can. Okay, I was hoping you'd find a variety of you know, more door styles. Have them open 90 degrees. Oops. Open 30 degrees. I don't know if anybody uses these cars, but you know, if you don't like a Camaro, I think they got a pickup truck and all sorts of their truck top view. Sports car front. Why did it not go to sports car front? There we go. I think that's the Camaro again. Again, you know, big whoop if you're just a one-person show, but you can greatly improve the productivity of more people by learning this stuff and building a package. Probably go to the help screen. It'll show you how to install the package into your AutoCAD. Still got some break time. Tables I've taught a couple of times, but it's pretty rare that I've needed a table. Later, when we get to extracting data, I'll show you table work. But, you know, it's kind of sort of like working in Excel. Properties. There's the border. Border color. Border line weights. Why did it not change to the color I specified? Back to the palettes. Click on the kind of the paper edges down here to see what's unavailable or see what's out of view. There's a lot of 3D rendering tools. You know, incandescent lighting, fluorescent lighting. I don't know if you can get sunlight simulated. structural, has all these I-beams. This might be a case where you might scale non-uniform. Okay, these are each the I-beam cross section. As I recall, the first number is the height of the I-beam from very, very top to very, very bottom. And the second number is the, I believe, the pounds per foot. So it gives you an idea how massive the I-beam is. I kind of doubt this is 3D. Nope. I was hoping it was 3D so I can scale it in one direction and make it super long. If it's possible, I don't know how to do it. Bunch of civil engineering tools, traffic, manholes, electrical, mechanical. Ah, weld symbols, that might be useful. Okay, I'm stepping out of the boat here. I better, oh, what the hell. Oh, that's right. You gotta, here's a fillet weld. And I guess you're expected to put the line and the arrow, double click on it, and it opens up a attribute editor. So I might say for size of this weld, 1/4 inch. Click apply. For length, say 6 inches along the surface it's pointing to. But for some reason, you still gotta add the line and a arrowhead. SOLID is a quick way to make a solid. Maybe put a flag on it for weld in the field. I forget which, I think it goes this way. Circle there means weld all the way around. I don't know that anything's 3D in this drawing. Okay, those are the chairs I was playing with. Okay, I got 5:30. Hope everybody's back. Hard to tell on these online classes. Anyway, for those of you that stepped out for a smoke or a candy bar or something, I I got desperate and read the instructions. By hitting F1, you get the help screen. Type whatever you're looking for. And what was that? Tool palettes. The hard part is spelling the word palette. And one of these told me how to get to it, and that is invoke the View tab. And it has a palettes panel. Here is where the tool palettes are, which in AutoCAD is kind of an appetizer. I think it's kind of an invitation for developers to make custom tool palettes for shipbuilding or pizza shop or a plant store. Just click on tool palettes. There's so many that they don't have enough space to show them all here. You can see them all by clicking on the edge of the deck of cards here at the bottom. And there's all the tabs, a few more than will display. Architectural has got the blocks that I was talking about earlier. And click on architectural. Any one of them that's got these little lightning bolt is a dynamic block. Let's look at trees, say. That would probably have a lot of variety. By the way, I got a real cool file of three-dimensional plants. I'm not sure if I'm authorized to share it with you. I might show it to you. Anyway, click on these dynamic blocks and they have one or more. Some of them have, I don't know, did we count 4 during break? Some have several arrows and each one swings it a different way or makes it longer or shorter or mirrors it. This one, I think, brings up kind of like a bunch of, it looks like about a dozen blocks. Just pick another one. Why did it not do anything? You got the plan and you got elevation. Let's see, palm tree plan. Well, that's where we were. Palm tree elevation. And I think some architects will show you this is how your house or your lawyer's office building, whatever, is going to look like brand new. And then in 30 years, it's going to be, just scale up all the plants, knowing how fast they grow. You can impress your client by how the landscape will look in years to come. Let's bring in doors, click and drag. Oh, no, it's just click and then click again. Click on it. Here you can make it larger or smaller. Looks like there's a height adjustment, right or left. I was hoping there'd be a grip to make different styles of doors, but I don't see it. Windows. It's not very exciting. So be aware of these tool palettes. Again, I think it's on any workspace.
Excuse me, Paul, do they have one for screws and nuts for different sizes and different styles of fasteners?
That would likely be on mechanical. I'm going to say yes. I remember I did see they're pretty crude, but here's a hex bolt. And by clicking on one of the arrows, you can specify how long it is. Click on this. Okay, that's the head size in metric. I'm in below the metric line, so metric 10. Not very exciting. Oh, here's the nut view. This might have, okay, same thing. I was hoping it would have socket-headed cap screw as well as hex head.
Now, see if you can type in screw in your command line or nut and see if it gives you a different option for it.
I doubt it. But screw, enter, unknown command.
No.
Now helix might do something if you wanted to manually make a screw thread.
So in the mechanical version of what we have at work, they have the option for screws, and they have standard screws. They have 2 different views of it, and you basically can pop it in. It's a really nice feature. So I just wanted to mention that for the other students in the class, because it's a handy tool when you need a size of a fastener and you don't want to draw all that stuff in.
I agree. Now, Dan, in your mechanical, does it use this pallet technology, or is it something?
Yeah, it's very similar. It comes up with the same window you have there, except that a little different what's on it basically. But the screw, if for mechanical, if you type in screw, it'll give you one type of, it'll give you a screw. It opens up a library and it asks you if you want a panhead screw, a socket head cap screw, and then it'll ask you what the thread is, let's say 3/8/16, and then you pop it into the view, and then it'll ask you for the length, and then you could specify the length. It also has a tapping feature, like if you wanted to show like a cross-sectional view of a hole showing, for example, your drill hole and then your tap hole, they're 2 different diameters. Basically, you have your major and your minor diameters for that kind of information. And a lot of times you want to see that because your tolerance stack up based on your minimum and your maximum material conditions on your parts.
Was that bringing back memories? Yeah, I remember working with tolerances back in the day.
Yep. So that is really useful. I found it when I was working on the stock drawings. So I just wanted to share that.
That might be a product of auto Lisp programming.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think hit F1 for help, and it'll guide you to where you can make a Fred tab on the palette here. But the fact that you type in a command kind of makes me think it's a program that's loaded, which is probably harder to do than going through the palette method.
Well, one easy method is to download blocks from the actual AutoCAD site. Sometimes blocks you can download.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm kind of running out of things here at the end of intermediate. Well, no, week 7 or 8, I'll demonstrate some auto Lisp programs. Like you said, you just type in auto Lisp or free blocks AutoCAD, and a lot of manufacturers will be more than happy to give you blocks of their machinery parts or their stereo equipment, and, in hopes that you help them sell it. But, yeah, once in a while I look for free auto Lisp, and it's hard to find a program that would be popular with students. But I'll have a few to show you in another class. So much for palettes. I don't believe I've ever used them professionally. But since we were talking about blocks, I wanted to show you the electrical blocks, the civil blocks, the structural blocks. There's also cross hatching. You can just drag it in. Not sure if it, yep, it did work. And, okay. Some of these crosshatch patterns, you have to have a really, really big shape for the pattern to show. I think I mentioned this when we were talking crosshatching the first day. You know, the steel pattern will show completely on a small square, but the cinder block bricks must be much, much bigger to show the pattern. I've never had a use for these gradients. Anyway, let's get to attributes. Let's see, let's go back to let me clean up my drawing 2 here. Or no. We'll start with week 6 starter. Before I show you how to create attributes, let me show you what they're good for. Again, title blocks is a good academic example of using blocks, and a lot of them have built-in attributes. Here's a layout where this entire drawing border is a giant block. In fact, I think you do a LI for list, and it'll tell you it is a block A size. Yeah, title block A size. And within the block are lots and lots of attributes, notes, checked by, scale, date, hit enter to continue, hit F2 to show the window again. I'm at a loss on why I can't resize the window. Anyway, the way you get to these attributes, depending on a system variable, and I believe the system variable is ATTDIA. Oh, okay, it's on the handout, not the starter file. Where is it? Where the hell? Here we go. Yeah, I'll email this if you're interested. There's some system variables. And I believe by default, the ATTDIA is set to 1 so that the dialog box comes up. For some reason, you might set it to 0 so that the question comes up on the command line and you type on the command line. That might be for programmers to use. Let's see. Getting back to 3D dial here. All you got to, with ATTDIA set to 1, you just double click on the block and up pops this list of attributes built into the block. You know, there's a scale 1 to 48. There's probably an automatic way to do this with a field, but I can, you know, make it 1 to 96 or 1 to 12 or whatever. Click apply. Okay, I've already gone in here and changed the CAD file to, you know, maybe name it Burgener week #1, drawn by me. spelled right or not. Date. Okay, I don't remember. I might have changed it to 2020. I think it was 90 something. Yeah, and there's my boss, Barrett. You know, make your changes to all these attributes, and it's an excellent way to keep your annotation or your you know, your lettering consistent from drawing to drawing. You can even center justify. Drawing title. I'll show you how you can you know, make it, change the text style, change the color, change the justification, change the text height. And you know, from drawing to drawing, you just double click on the block that has the attributes in it, and you know, change it to whatever you want. Fred Jones here. Click apply or click OK. One of those samples I emailed you is STD 202, I think. That has a popular use of attributes for labeling rooms in a building. Yeah, STD 202. Okay, this isn't the rooms in the building. This is another title block. I've long since forgotten where I stole this from. It's 20 years old, but you double click on the title block, and it, you know, same as we saw in the sundial. Let me open up the T, whatever it was. Yeah, T110_7. No, that's the sundial. Here we go, attributes room. Okay, I didn't email you this one. You know, I'll send it if you want. But on each of these, we'll get into reference files later tonight. You know, I habitually click ignore them. Anyway, all these labels for the rooms have a few attributes in them. So you double click on them and change it from class common to say, I don't know, oh, I forgot, say mech, probably should use all caps. Second room, second line, say room. Build the number might be 479 or whatever. And this one's blank, but you can, for spits and grins, you can say the mechanical room is 231 square feet. Click OK. And that's what you'll get on your drawing. Room number, the name, and the square footage. So that's the beauty of attributes, is that you can double click on a block with attributes and type in stuff. Let's go back to our week 6 starter. Well, let's just work with, well, let me play with another 3D. Okay, I think I got an AutoCAD unit represents a foot here. Let me check. DI. 8 inches. So let's make a sofa, say. Where's the layers? I want to be on layer 0. There it is. Okay, I am on layer 0. We'll make a box, say length of, say a 6-foot sofa. So that would be 70 in the X. Enter. Width is in the Y. What would a width of a sofa be? 28 maybe? And the base of the seat, the sofa, is 17 is standard for the height of a sofa or a height of a chair. Maybe let's just copy this right on top of itself. Use Dan's push press pull. All right, Burgener. And maybe copy another one on top of itself. Press pull. Looks like I'm having trouble getting a clear shot of this guy. Press pull. Always something. All right, be that way. I'll call it a bench. Attributes are kind of like little mini spreadsheets or databases of tabular data. And you know, I made when I first got hired by the Air Force, you know, one of the first things I did, I got the floor plan for our wing of the building and created a little icon for each employee. And I had an attribute for home address, emergency contact, birthday, phone number, name, nickname, rank. And the idea was that I'd eventually get smart enough that with a few presses of buttons, I could print out a Excel spreadsheet that had the telephone list or the birthdays in order of, or in calendar order. And you know, every time a hurricane comes by, the military's big on keeping track of everybody. So they want your home address and home phone number. Anyway, never got anywhere because I couldn't convince anybody to use it. You know, they had their Word files with all that stuff and didn't want to learn, you know, AutoCAD to play with it. Anyway, let's add, we're going to make a block out of this bench thing here. We might want to know how much it weighs because I want to show you how very, very simple list and trim calculator could be built this way. If you know the XYZ location of the diesel engine on a sub and you know how much it weighs, and say the insertion point was at its center of gravity, you could calculate how much torque or moment it puts on listing the submarine. And if your datum is, you know, right at, you know, mid, you know, on the center line, that, you know, some datum, you could balance it out to, slide the equipment here and there so that all the weight is distributed so that's, it's list and trim of, neutral, 0, whatever it is. So I want you to include weight. We'll also say model, say manufacturer or store that sells it, and model number. And let's say price. With the price, we can just window a bunch of, freeze layers and window everything on the trim and drain layer, and it'll generate, hey, this stuff costs, 500,000 or 2 million or whatever, because everything has a attribute of the price of it. So anyway, to do attributes, where are we? Go back to drafting and annotation. Don't forget this. The workspaces are down here on the status bar, this little gear with the downward pointing triangle. Go to attributes and I'm sorry, drafting and annotation. Insert again, right where we were to create and insert blocks. We want to define attributes. Or type ATTDEF. Pops this dialog box. To begin with, let's leave everything blank. I've got little use for the invisible, or verify. Lock position just makes it so the second one is neatly placed under the first one and the third one under the second one, which is kind of nice to make it pretty, but let's leave everything blank for now. The tag is kind of like the name of the row on the spreadsheet or the Xrefs database. Now, whether you type in lower or uppercase, it's going to come out in uppercase. So one of them will be price, and I'll intentionally butcher the capitalization just to demonstrate. You cannot have blank spaces in here. And I'm sure there's a list of illegal characters to use, like I showed when naming a block. So not case sensitive, no spaces. The prompt is either a question for the CAD operator that's going to use this, or is a sample of what the answer might be. I recently read that another thing in military, every piece of real property, the HVAC, the sprinkler systems, everything's got a price on it, and the government decides how much money you get for maintenance based on how much how much it's listed on this form. And it sounds like, from what little I read, the attributes for a transformer, the units should have been in kilovolts, but the CAD operator, if it was done with CAD, it probably was done with pencil and paper, but for some reason he had typed in the number of kilovolts. So then the bureaucrats came up with, oh, you need a transformer for 22 volts. Well, that's like a battery charger for a golf cart, So they only gave a couple $100 when it should have been 22,000 volts, $75,000 or $100,000. Anyway, for that, you might say the prompt is type kilovolts, or what's the kilovolts, question mark. For price, we might say what's it cost? Lowercase, this is case sensitive. Then the default is either kind of an average or a sample. You might say 123.45, and that's a little reminder that the operator should talk in dollars and cents instead of, I don't know, pesos or pounds or whatever. Another default might be simply XXX.XX. What happened? Let me double click and let me start all over again. Attribute, and let me get a, I'm at a loss on why it came in upside down. I'm in some weird UCS. That's why. UCS, enter, W for world, enter. Now we're back on my toolbar disappeared, so always something. All right, where were we? Define attributes, leave blank, tag, say price. Prompt is what's the price. Default is say 123.45. It's just a sample, kind of a reminder. You can change the justification, you can change the text style, you can change the text height. We'll leave it at 8. I think that'll be good. Rotation, etc., 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 etc. Leave this checked. Rather than typing, accepting 000. So, all these things really are only aesthetic. They got no technical use, just to make it look pretty. And by the way, with multi-lines, you can even get fancier. Where was I? Click OK. It says, okay, where do you want the attribute to be? All right, you could put it on the object, on the back of the object. I think typical is either in front or beside. Let's go with beside here. Click again. Click this align before. I'm sorry, did I say lock position? Lock position means you can't move it within the block. I think earlier I told you that means place it directly below the last one. But this down here places it below the last one. Click OK. All right. We'll say seller maybe. Prompt. Who sold it? Default say, I don't know, Acme. I don't think you want commas. Playing last weekend, I did Acme, comma, INC, and that comma messed me up when I tried to create a comma delineated file into which could be imported into Excel. So I suggest avoid commas. Click OK, and it plops it right below, neatly below price. You can still move it anywhere you want and scale it. And I think with the properties, you can still make modifications to it. And in my floor plan work, I had them on different layers because you might want to print out the name and the phone number, but not the home address and home phone number. But let's keep it simple on layer 0. Define attribution again. We'll make it a little smaller this time, say 6. We'll put it neatly below the last one. Let's see, weight. How much does it weigh? Question mark. And put a decimal pounds maybe. You know, a user might try to type in 500 pounds and 6 ounces. Well, you know, instead type 500 point whatever 6 is of 16 ounces. Anyway, click OK. Price, seller, oh, model number we want. Click define attributes. I'll manually place it just for variety. Model, no space, underline is acceptable. Number, model number question mark. The default say 123-DF 456, you know, just a sample to, you know, put dashes in if necessary. Click OK. Why is it so freaking big? Not a problem. Click on it, bring up properties, and you can change a lot of this stuff. Like here, change your mind, you want it to be invisible, constant, preset. Again, keeping it simple. I want the height to be only 6, enter. I'll move it a little prettier. That's about it. You need to define where the insertion point for this bench thing is. And I'll draw a line diagonal. And we're ready to make a block out of it. Same way as we made a block out of the you know, stick figure desk chair an hour ago. I don't know that we're going to get to Xrefs tonight, much as I'm talking. Go to insert, create block. First select, well, okay, give it a name. We'll call this a sofa space 1. Pick point would be dead center of that. Why is that not snapping to the dead center? Because midpoint got turned off. Wonder how that happened. Okay, selecting objects, pick all your graphic stuff. Don't click the guideline. Now it's important to select these in the order that you want them to be in that chart we saw for the title blocks and the room numbers. Probably good practice if you had these in the same order. You know, I should have had the model number at the top, but that's okay. Let's anyway select them in the order that you want them to be asked. If you just window them, then you're at the mercy of which is the newest and which is the oldest. And I think by default it selects the newest of the 4 first and the oldest of the 4 last. So manually pick them in the order that you want them to be displayed. Hit enter. Everything as it was. Click OK. Now, when you click OK, it's going to convert to the first reference or image or ink stamp of this block. So the dialog box will open up immediately, And you got to fill in the price, seller, weight, and model number. So let's change them to something else. You know, I don't think 4 digits for set for the price will make a difference. Say Sears, Sears Premium, say. How much does it weigh? Say, what's a sofa weigh? 65 and 0.452 or 3 pounds, and the model number might be SP for Sears Premium 123 dash. I think it can be space too. Yeah, let's try spaces is kind of risky, but you know, there's the model number. Click OK. Now again, I'd suggest putting the attributes on a separate layer so you can freeze the separate layer rather than relying on that invisible feature, because there is a way that people can type in and make visible stuff that's created invisible. Let's copy it a couple of times. And as before, we can rotate and mirror them. Hard to read, but that's okay. We could scale them if that makes sense. We can insert fresh ones instead of making copies. As we insert, all right, might be at the bottom here. Yeah, there it is. They put them in age. Put one in there, create, you know, make it all new, say Walmart. Whoop, what's the price? 231 point something. Who sold it? Walmart. Up. Okay, I was just about to say no blank spaces, but that's for the tag, not the value. How much does it weigh? 65.45 pounds, and model number WM space something. Click OK. Now, at any time you can double click on these and change the answer for whatever reason. You know, I'm trying to get it, you know, a lot of variety here just for the sake of the spreadsheet. Oh, you can make the, since I didn't think to make a layer, you know, called attributes that I can freeze and thaw, the ATTDEF command will make them invisible. No, it's ATTDIST. DISP for display. ATTDISP set to off, and they're all invisible. Okay, now we're getting into data extraction. You know, attributes are very, very common just for annotation, but what if you want to alphabetize them or add them all up or calculate list and trim with them? You know, bear with me. Hope I can remember this. data. Nope, data linking and extraction. Yeah, I think it's data extraction I want to use. And this, our goal is to get an Excel spreadsheet that we can, hand to an Excel user and calculate, sum up the column, the rows and average them and put it, sort by alphabetical and, do the calculations for the torque or moment for list and trim. Find out how much weight is on the third floor for the mezzanine, for example. So we'll click on this data extraction. This one, I won't ask you to do this for your birdhouse, so take a nap if you want. We want to create a new data extraction. Long time ago, I taught this template method. But that is like learning another foreign language. So it's no longer required. We'll create a new data extraction. Click next. We'll leave it in my week 6. Let's put it in the Paul folder, week 6, and we'll call it, say, I don't know, Paul's sofas. By default, it'll put the DXE. I believe it's a text file, but DXE for data extraction, I guess. Click save. And to be on the safe side, let me window just the sofas. Select the objects in the drawing, not 100% of the drawing. So I'll window all these things. Hit enter. I believe I found nothing to change on settings. I don't know why it says all objects in drawing when a minute ago I said just these objects. But you could even go into the attributes in the Xref files, which will probably run out of time. Cover that tomorrow, next week. We'll leave everything as it is. Click OK. Click next. We've only selected blocks with attributes. So let's go ahead and, what the hell, let's check display blocks with attributes. Let's check all 3, click next. Now the hard part, we don't want the length, the line type, the material, the thickness. You got a gazillion things here. Not only the values of the, like what we typed in for the price and model number, but also, stuff. We want nothing. Let's first clear these all. Rest your cursor, right click and pick uncheck all. And the only thing that I think is important for our spreadsheet is the attribute data, especially the values. We'll also get the column headings for seller, price, etc. And the geometry will give us the XYZ and the scales in XYZ. Getting back here. Oh, no, we click next. I missed a step. Let's go back. You certainly don't need to know the scale because they're all one, you know, 1, 1, 1. Okay, I think we want the position XYZ, but I never noticed this start and end XYZ. Well, we got the attribute price, model number, and the XYZ position. Z is 0 for them all, so let's reduce that. So we got our attribute data and X and Y. Click next. I don't believe I want to change anything. Click next. Now you got a choice. The easy way is to check insert data table into drawing, and you end up with this tiny little postage stamp of what a spreadsheet looks like. And you scale that table up so you can read it, and then use AutoCAD table commands to make it look pretty. Let's go straight to the spreadsheet, you know, so we can list stuff alphabetically and, you know, all the beauty of a spreadsheet. I don't know why it insists on putting it in documents. I'm going to guide it to the to my Paul folder in the D drive again. AutoCAD class 2020 fall, student work, week 6, Paul stuff. We'll name it, say, week 6 starter, same as the drawing we're working with. It might be smarter to say sofa data. Click save. Click next. You got it created. Click finish. I think it'll close out. Notice the attributes were not visible, but they're still extracted. Let me open up that Excel spreadsheet. D drive, class, 2020 fall, student work, 6, Paul. I want to right click and open it with Excel. I don't want to double click on it because I got Open Office rigged, and I haven't learned how to use it as well as I know Excel. So I'm going to manually open it with Excel. Now it took me a while to figure out what these little green triangles are here. Can I zoom in on this? I see these little green triangles in a lot of professional spreadsheet work. Not sure why, but why it's necessary. But if you select them all, you get this little gold thing, and then you can change them to numbers stored as text and convert them into pure numbers. You know, these are not like model numbers, you know, just text. These are quantities that we want to average and sum and, you know, play math with. So we'll convert them all to number. We'll convert the weights to number. You know, eventually I'd hope there'd be an easier way than doing this for all the numbers. And the X and Y position. Click on the little yellow diamond exclamation point and change them to numbers. And that's, whoop, I missed a couple down here. How'd that happen? Got them all. Now check it out. Again, this is, you know, there is an Excel class at the night school. Maybe I should take. We want to sum up the, what is this, the weight column. So I click on the auto sum and nothing will go wrong. Hit enter. And unfortunately, that only added the, summed up the last ones. Not a problem. K34 to K38. We want it to go from K2, the top one. So I think I can change K34 to K2. Hit enter. I believe that is the sum. We got 65 times 4. So the total weight based on what we put in the weight attribute is a little over 1,200 pounds. I won't take time, but we could add a column here and, you know, taking the X times the weight and Y times the weight and da 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 da, and then figure out if the submarine will list port or starboard, you know, slightly or severe. If we had, instead of model names, if we had the employee names, we could sort by the employee name. So that puts them all in alphabetical order. In turn would be their phone number, their salary if you wanted, their weight, etc., etc. Maybe delete the stuff you don't need. I don't know why a line got in there. There's 14 3D solids. Okay, there's 7 sofas. They're each 2 solids. So that's where the 14 came from. I'll delete these. And right here, you know, again, we can print out. Pretty cool, huh? There might even be a way that Excel will tally up how many identical model numbers there are. And, well, I guess you know, for like a bill of materials in a drawing, you might have how many doors of the same kind and how many windows of the same kind and how many toilets of the same kind. And it'll develop a table saying you got 16, you know, toilets of this make and this price, and this is the total cost of every toilet, you know, and you can you know, generously give a list to the constructor that he or she'll know how many toilets to go out and buy to build the entire office building. Let me give you an abbreviated lesson with the, I'll save this, though I don't think I'll ever go back to it. How did that come up? Let me show you some Xrefs. I'll try to put it in 15 minutes. We'll close. Nope, I want to keep this. I'll erase. I'll save this file. Into my folder and call it Foundation. Or FDN, well, let's spell it out, Foundation. I believe I can now erase all the attribute stuff we played with. I might come back to read this stuff, so I'll leave it on. We'll save it again as walls, and certainly the walls will have to be directly over the foundation. Now, in the walls drawing, we don't need this stuff or the polyline, so I'm going to erase it all for the walls drawing. I'll save the walls with absolutely nothing in it for the desks drawing. Now the desks want to have the walls in the background to know where to go. And last but not least, the telephone operator will want to place a telephone on each desk. Now, in reality, imagine HVAC, reflected ceiling, plumbing, electrical, communications, sprinklers, life safety is, you know, what's the longest a person has to run when the building's on fire, stuff like that. Each of those topics could be a drawing. We'll click Save. I guess I already clicked Save, didn't I? We'll save all of them. These little stars here mean the file. Nope. We'll shut down all. We'll close all except desk. Nothing I did worth saving. I wonder if there's a close without saving. Nope. Okay, these other two I might come back. We'll load, besides desk, we'll load foundation walls and phone. So I'll go to, I wish I didn't have to keep going down this file path all the time, but I'm not smart enough to, where are we? Oh, don't want academic files. We want AutoCAD class, 2020 intermediate, student work, week 6, Paul. You want to load. What happened to phones? Oh, well, let me work with just desks and walls. This is a little shortcut you might find handy. Select the files and just drag them right into your working drawing. It's a little safer to drag them to the command prompt, but I believe in the drawing area works. Release your finger and they will automatically load. Okay, it's reloading desk. What happened to foundation? Okay, I guess I failed to see that. Okay, this is the foundation. Say the guy comes in and we got 8 minutes. For whatever reason, he stretches the foundation. They found more money. Why can I not stretch these? Stretch. And we'll save it. Now, 10 minutes later, the desk subject matter expert comes in, and he and she wants to see the foundation. I'm sorry, we want the walls to come in. I think I forgot to erase this stuff, didn't I? Thought I did. The walls guy wants to see the foundation, so the walls guy will go to the insert tab, attach, type in his Xref, and we'll go to D drive and all through the cryptic path again. All right, DW drawing files. Walls wants to see the foundation. Let it come in at 0, 0, 0, and scale is 1, 1, 1, angle is 0. There's minor difference between the attachment and overlay. Let's do everything as an attachment, keep it simple. Click OK. Guy says, oh, why are these still here? Oh well. Okay, I got a room here. Ignore the fact there's no doors and windows. I'm gonna go to Design Center, DC, and hopefully one of my drawings I got open already has the desks I want. We'll go into, are they in this drawing? Yep, there we go. Made this one. We'll click on desk and set him there. Now we want the desk to be on a unique layer, so let's create a layer. And actually, I got them already made here. We'll set desk layer current. All right, Burgener, Zoom stuff getting in the way again. And we'll change the desk block to the desk layer at the top. Now, if we had made our sofa or our desk on a non-zero layer, it wouldn't obey the color of the layer that you set it on. It would obey the color that you created it on, regardless of what layer you set it on. So that's why keeping it simple with blocks made on layer 0. I'll place copies. I might get another one. I'll mirror all of them. Now the interior, the furniture arranger says you can put 8 people in here. Save it. Okay, I can't go to the phones guy because I lost that. We'll save that. We'll say, why is the walls layer current? The drawing current. I'm sorry. I'm going to move all of these from the walls drawing to the desk drawing. Clipboard. taking a gamble here, but I think this will work. I'm going to cut these out, toggle to desk, paste them in. I need to Xref the walls. I typed Xref, attach a drawing. Damn it, I got to go through this again. Okay. Okay, walls has the desks on it. We'll save the desk drawing. We'll go back to walls and delete the model tab. No. Walls does not have. Oh, that's right. I cut them out. So we'll save the walls. Desk is saved. We'll erase the. Nope. Let me undo that. I want to put these desks in the walls. I'll get rid of the redundant desks in a second. We'll save desks. We'll go back to foundation. Say the guy changes the floor plan again. We'll save it. The guy for the walls comes in and he's got this little balloon in the bottom right of his screen saying, hey, your external reference has changed. Do you want to update it? You know, the foundation has changed. So the guy with the walls drawing wants the current foundation. He or she will click on that. Okay, that's the current walls. I forgot to place walls. I'm going to change layer to the walls and I'm going to draw. I won't take time to perfectly center it. Probably could have well, you know, if I was smart, maybe I could offset one of these Xref lines. And C for close. We'll save it. Now the desk guy comes in. By golly, the walls have changed. So the desk guy will get a fresh copy of the walls drawing. There's the wall. The foundation came in because the walls drawing Xrefs the foundation. Now we see, oh, we could get a third row of desks in here. Let's rotate these around. Damn it, RO 180. We'll copy CP for copy. So now we can fit 12 office workers in this room. We'll save it. Don't have the telephone, but now the foundation guy comes in and whoops, I made a mistake. Or we got budget cuts, we got to narrow it down. All right, what happened? Scale. Save it. The walls guy gets the balloon in the corner. Sometimes the balloon doesn't appear. If it doesn't appear, let me click on it. But if it doesn't appear, just type Xref and select it and right click and reload it. If you don't see the little balloon, I'm just keeping you overtime now. Walls guy will catch up with the foundation, save it, and the desk guy comes in, he gets a balloon, he clicks, I want to see what's changed. Oh, I can only fit 9 now. E for erase. So the moral of the story is every subject matter expert Xrefs at least what's required to do the work. And so you can have 20 people working on the same project, each with a different specialty. Unfortunately, it's hard. You can't just email your desk file to your friend because the walls and the foundation layers are linked, but they're not within the desk drawing. So there's a couple of ways to do this. We'll save it. One way is the e-transmit command. And that way it'll bundle all the Xrefs and all the images. If you got a JPEG or a PDF connected, it'll package everything into a zip file. And then whoever gets it by email will create a new folder, put the zip file in, crack it open, and all the links will work for him. Another way, which takes up a lot of storage space, is go to your Xref, type Xref, or go here to attach. No, got to go to Xref. Already got it open. Duh. Right click. Reload for good measure. I guess we got to go individually. I want to detach. I know I want to bind. Why does it not allow me to bind? I don't think it's because I need to save stuff. I wonder if that write protect messed me up. Well, I'm keeping you too late. The punchline is you click bind. It gives you a choice of how you want to bind it, as a block or not. And the difference between bind it as a block or not is how the layers in the Xref file are named. If you select the as a block, the layers are exactly the same name. And I believe layers that are identical name get merged together. If you pick the other option, I forget what it is, but it's not as a block. Do the other way, the layers get named by the drawing in which they're coming in with, I believe, $, 0, $, and then the name of the layer. So you've got a record of the drawing they originated on, as well as the layer that the drawing they originated on had them on. Okay. There's a type in command that if you want to freeze all the layers except just the, I don't know, just the walls for the floor covering, for example, you can store, you can control the layers in Xrefs, and day after day when you open up your file, it'll remember to freeze those layers. I can't remember what the type in command for that is. You can copy stuff from an X file. However, whoever owns the X file can type in a command that kind of password protects it. You can clip an Xref if you only want to look at a certain room, just like you can clip a viewport. All right, that's it. Let me email you something to do for homework. And I'm thinking it'll be something like, make a coffee table and assign it some attributes. And then email me the file that's got your block made with the attributes. Anybody still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Thanks, Paul.
Well, we're down to 5. We lost 2. All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, we'll call it a day. Text, call, or email if you have any questions. I'll upload yet tonight the video. Have a super week.
All right, you too.